Hey guys, it's Jeannie, Cheerful Heart back with you. And we are on day 6. You've almost done a full week. Congratulations. I'm so excited. So we've done 5 days, and I want to get you to comment below. What do you think so far? I know it's can be complicated hearing all these names and how many years they've lived, but there's reasons that God puts that in there. I know people think, especially when we get to numbers and all this other stuff and the judges, sometimes it can be, like, what can I get out of this? But as you keep reading, like reading about Abram and Sarai, you realize there is things to learn. So don't skip over that, because it also shows you who was born to who and who and who, and all that has a meaning to where Jesus came, and it all has to do with the lineage and everything. So I know at times it can be a little, but don't skip over it. Okay, guys, don't. So today we're on day 6, and we're going to be doing Genesis chapter 13, picking up at verse 5 and going to chapter 15, verse 21. That's our Old Testament reading. Then we're going to go to Matthew chapter 5, verses 27 through 48. That's going to be our New Testament reading. And then we'll jump over to Psalm 6, 1 through 10. And we'll do Proverbs chapter 1, verses 29 through 33. And we'll actually finally finish Proverbs today. That will be the last one for today. Okay? So, let's see. So let's pick up. Here we go and start with chapter 13 in Genesis. Okay. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, but the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abram's herdsmen and the herdsmen of Lot. The Canaanites and the Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. So, guys, it's just like it is nowadays. When a bunch of people get together, sometimes there's quarreling. So let's see what happens. So Abram said to Lot, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herdsmen and mine, for we are brothers." I love the way he said that. Let's not have quarreling. "It's not the whole land before you. Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked up and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt toward Zoar. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and we'll talk about that later. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. The two men parted company. So Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, after Lot had parted him, "Lift up your eyes from where you are and look north, south, east, and west. All the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." So Abram moved his tents and went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Hebron, where he built an altar to the Lord. I love how Abram always built an altar to the Lord. It's like where he went. I really think he worshiped the Lord, and I really like, have you noticed how he's built an altar everywhere? Chapter 14. At this time, Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elazar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goim, went to war against Bera, king of Sodom, Persia, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admar, Shinabara, king of Zeboiim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor. All these latter kings joined forces in the valley of Sidon, the Salt Sea. For 12 years they had been subject to Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings allied with him, went out and defeated the Raphites in the Asher-Karnam, the Zuzites in Ham, the Emites in Shavah, Kiriathim, and the Horites in the hill country of Seir, as far as Paran near the desert. Then they turned back and went to En-Mephat, that is Kadesh, and they conquered the whole territory of the Amalekites, as well as the Amorites who were living in Hazan Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, the king of Bela, marched out and drew up their battle lines in the valley of Siddim against Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goim, Amraphel, king of Shamar, and Erechot, king of Elazar, 4 kings against 5. Now, the valley of Sodom was full of tar pits. And when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some of the men fell into them, and rest fled to the hills. The 4 kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food. Then they went away. They also carried off Abram's nephew Lot and his possessions, since he was living in Sodom. One who had escaped came and reported this to Abram the Hebrew. Now, Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre the Amorite, a brother of Ishka and Anor, all of whom were allied with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he called out the 318 trained men born in his household and went in pursuit as far as Dan. During the night, Abram divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Hobath, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with the women and the other people. After Abram returned from defeating Chedorlaomer and the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley Shavah, that is in the king's valley. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed by Abram, by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people and keep the goods for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and I have taken an oath that I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or a thong of a sandal, so that you will never be able to say, 'I made Abram rich.' I will accept nothing but what my men have eaten, and the share that belongs to the men who went with me, to Anor, Eshka, and Mamre. Let them have their share." Chapter 15. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward." But Abram said, "O sovereign Lord, what can you give me, since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate is Elazar of Damascus?" And Abram said, "You've given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir." Then the word of the Lord came to him. "This man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir." He took him outside and said, "Look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." Then he said to him, "So shall your offspring be." Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. He also said to him, "I am the Lord, who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to take possession of." But Abram said, "O sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it?" So the Lord said to him, "Bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon." Abram brought all these to him, cut them in two, and arranged the halves opposite each other. The birds, however, he did not cut in half. Then birds of prey came down on their carcasses, but Abram drove them away. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. Then the Lord said to him, "Know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated for 400 years. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your fathers. You, however, will go to your fathers in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the fourth generation, your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure. When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, a smoking fire pot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram and said, to your descendants, I give this land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Kadamites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Gershites, and Jebusites. Now we'll go to Matthew chapter 5, verses 27 through 48. You've heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. But I, Jesus, tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to singe, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown in hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go to hell. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for marital unfaithfulness, causes her to become an adulteress, and anyone who marries the divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but keep the oaths you have made to the Lord. But I tell you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. Simply let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if someone wants to sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. You have heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your brothers, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Psalm 6, verses 1 through 10. O Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, or discipline me in your wrath. Be merciful to me, Lord, for I am faint. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in anguish. How long, O Lord, how long? Turn, O Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. No one remembers you when he is dead, who praises you from the grave. I am worn out from groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping and drench my couch with tears. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my woes. Away from me, all who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be ashamed and dismayed. They will turn back in sudden disgrace. In Proverbs chapter 1, 29 through 33, this is the final verses of Proverbs 1. Since they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord, since they would not accept my wisdom's advice and spurned my rebuke, they will eat the fruit of their ways and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. All right, guys, that is day 6 completed. We read Genesis chapter 13, verse 5 through chapter 15, verse 21. We read Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 48. We also read Psalms chapter 6, verses 1 through 10. And we finished Proverbs chapter 1 with verses 29 through 33. So, guys, we've done day 6. Tomorrow's day 7. Great job. Keep up the great work, and don't forget to like, share, comment this video, share it with friends so they can join you on this journey. And we will be back tomorrow with day 7, guys. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye, y'all.